Hello, and welcome to another episode of the mildly competitive Pokémon Podcast. My name is Daniel, and today I'm joined by a skeleton crew of Trenton, DJ, and Dyson. Fellas, how are you all doing?
Yo, what's
Doing
going
all right.
on, everybody?
Yeah, what's up,
I'm
everyone?
good.
Fantastic. Today we've got a couple of topics to cover, including a brief rundown of the League Cup we all attended last weekend, followed up by DJ's shop review. After that, I've got a couple of discussion questions for my fellow hosts here pertaining to card effects and game mechanics that should lead to some interesting discourse. With that said, let's get right into our League Cup recap. Like I said before, all four of us attended a League Cup last weekend at CCG House Games in Vancouver, Washington. I personally didn't have the best or most interesting of runs, so instead I'll kick it over to someone who did. Dyson, how'd you do?
So at the League Cup, I took a second place out of, I don't remember how many Masters there were.
41.
There's a lot.
42 Masters.
It was around 40? 42 Masters. I was playing the Lost Zone Garantina with the Cross Switcher variant. And yeah, it was a pretty good run. Came up short, got 2-0'd in top two by Chen Pao Pauk. Just way too aggressive. But yeah, I managed to take second place. Got 40 points on the board. Puts me at 62 championship points.
Carrying the
So
team.
I'm hyped for that.
Yeah, congratulations. That last matchup, that player beat what, 3 of us?
Yeah,
I believe so, yeah.
I lost in round one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Either of you two want to kind of go over how your tournament went?
Yeah, I guess. I lost my winning hand, so that was cool. Because I prized every single one of my Vs and my Greninja on Lost Box.
You were playing the Lost Box variant?
Yeah, Turbo Lost Box, just with the Dragonite, Raikou, Drapion, Forest Seal kind of stuff. And yeah, I lost my winning into Mew, so that was pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I just played some Arceus, Ray, Pikachu pile, and it was not a good call.
Yeah, we found out that a bad deck was bad.
Yeah.
Did you even do the use Flying Peak?
I didn't play any matchups where it would have mattered.
Just all evolution
It
decks?
was all evolution decks. It was a couple Rapid Strike and a couple Arc piles. So it just didn't
at
matter.
that tournament, there was a lot of Arc piles.
No kidding.
A lot of Arc piles and a lot of Garantina Lost Zone decks.
Yeah, for sure.
I played Meowscarada straight with no other supports other than a Mew Mysterious Tail support engine to find VIP passes and rare candies. I just didn't have enough draw consistency engines to streamline the energy discards and multiple Meowscaradas. Definitely lesson learned. It might not be ready yet with the current format. But as more cards come from Scarlet and Violet block, I definitely feel like that it's going to be a powerhouse. My only highlight of the tournament is I played against United Moons. And every time he benched one of his attackers, they got double sniped with bouquet flowers. So that's my tournament report. Now I will say, really interesting deck that made top that Dyson played against in top 4 that I think might have a huge impact on the meta. I'll have Dyson talk about it because he played it.
Yeah, so my top 4 opponent, he was piloting Arceus Garantina with the Umbreon variant. It just worked pretty well for him. Game 1, he judged himself into a Bibarel, Umbreon, and Energy to kill my Garantina for game. Just Umbreon is just a good combo card. And in game 2, I took that one out by Sableye stalling him. I bossed up his Umbreon. I noticed he had a lot of energies out on his Pokemon and in the Lost Zone and in his discard. So I just I stalled him that game too. I lost mined him for like 4 or 5 turns, I think, and he just could not get the retreat off. My game 3, I took the first Garantina knockout, and when you're playing against Garantina decks, like mirror matches, it's usually the person who can get the first Garantina V-Star kill. And that was basically the deciding factor of that game.
Gotcha. Anyone have any other highlights or thoughts about the event, or do we want to save that for the shop review?
No, that was a big one. Pairing up Arceus with the Fiorentina instead of the Duraludon. I know the Duraludon is the hot sauce right now that everyone's talking about, but I just thought it was interesting. Being, Arceus Fiorentina is already a deck, but it's more of a disruption deck. But combining with
Right.
Umbreon and Lost Cities, I was like, that's really interesting. They're able to hit high numbers against PV Pokemon, and you're still able to attack Gardevoir, which I know that's a tougher matchup for the Arceus Umbreon deck. Since the Duraludon does 220, you can modify the damage against the Gardevoir EX with the is it Struggle Gloves?
Cleansing gloves.
Cool. It does look like Umbreon has kind of solidified itself as a Arceus partner. Having that utility seems to be pretty powerful.
So powerful.
Well, with that said, I suppose we can go ahead and get into DJ's shop review. DJ, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so this weekend we traveled to a card shop located in kind of in the middle of Vancouver, Washington, the most furthest south part of Washington, just right over the bridge from Portland, Oregon. So if anyone ever wants to attend a tournament and fly in, the Portland airport is literally 7 minutes away. But my first takeaway pulling up, it looked like a warehouse. I didn't even think it was the card shop. And Daniel had pointed out, like, there's the sign. And, we made it to our destination. Went inside, and at first glance, very open, great place. Register and glass case right when you walk in. A whole dedicated section for Pokemon. And what was really impressive, the selection of packs they had. They went all the way back almost to XY. I did see Fates Collide. Pretty much all the Sword and Shield era, quite a few Sun and Moon era. Obviously expensive packs, but if you're itching for a certain era of pack to open, you definitely have that selection. Air conditioning, it felt colder than normal to me, so that's a big plus for a card shop in the hot weather to be able to have those amenities. They had access to free water jug. You could refill your water bottles, which I thought was nice. Great for player base. My recommendation. I give it at a 5 stars. I'd probably give it a 4.4.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Looking at the building itself, it looked a lot bigger than it kind of felt inside. The retail area was really nice, and as you said, they had huge selection of sealed product for both Pokemon and it looked like Magic. So the retail space was really nice.
Like you all said, I was definitely thrown off by the size of the warehouse card shop. Round one, it was so brutal. We were like put in like a mini conference room. Everyone was just crammed in together, and you had to like wait for the person who was ahead of you at your table to like be done so you could get out and go out in the hallway. So that was a little brutal. I remember my round one opponent. We were like crammed in the back playing, and we were just crammed in by another table, and then we had to wait for the people right next to us to get done for us to get out.
Yeah, I remember peeking in on you, and you just shrugged.
Yeah.
What's funny is, I saw Trenton and Daniel, checked in on them, and it was like, how'd you guys do, right? Doing the tournament report, and Daniel goes, Dyson's stuck right now. And I was sitting there like, how has he not drawn escape rope or switch cards or anything? And Daniel,
No, he was just physically stuck. Literally stuck.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, it was their first cup, and there was a lot of players, so I feel like it did get better the later we got into the rounds.
Yeah, they adjusted pretty well.
No hate there. I'm sure their future ones will be even smoother.
yeah, and Trenton was there longer than any of us who met us there. What do you think, Trenton?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a cool shop, but yeah, it did feel a little smaller on the inside. Also, yeah, really cramped for the first couple of rounds. But it got better, and the rounds started moving quicker. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty good shop.
Now, what would you guys rate it? What's your guys' 5-star analogy here?
I'll go with a 4.
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
4 or 3.9.
Okay. With the median, 4-star is where we're at with the group, so that's awesome. Yeah, fantastic. Oh, I did want to take a moment. We did have time. I had time while Dyson was in top to, speak with some of the judges and the organizers of that league, and fantastic group of people and competitive players. One of the juniors is actually getting coaching from Tord Reklov and is looking to be a top player in the junior division. So we related with that, with my son being in juniors. And it's like, oh, okay, we have kids getting coached by some of the best in the game.
That's insane.
In the Portland market. So we have a few more cups and challenges this quarter to go to in that area. So now I know to bring the A game when we go. So
For sure. Alrighty, so that'll wrap up our DJ shop review segment. And with that, we can kind of go into these discussion topics that I've had for a couple weeks that I've been itching to get to that hopefully don't flop. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
yes.
All right. So, the release of Paldea Evolved didn't really introduce any new powerful archetypes outside of maybe Chien-Pao and even maybe United Wings, probably not. Instead, the set's biggest impact has been its powerful reprints in the form of Super Rod and Reversal Energy, which is essentially just the old Scramble Energy, as well as the introduction of Iono, a super impactful comeback supporter. As we move further into this format and the EX era, my question for all of you is, what cards or effects would you like to see reprinted, and why would they be a healthy addition to the format? If you guys want a minute to think, I do have my own example.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. So, the card I want to see reprinted is Chaotic Swell. For those who aren't familiar with what Chaotic Swell is, it is a stadium from Cosmic Eclipse that reads, whenever either player plays a stadium card from their hand, discard that stadium after discarding this one. So my reasoning for this is, back in the day, this was a direct counter to Power Plant, which shut off the abilities of Pokemon GX, which, if you're familiar with today's format, is very similar to Path to the Peak. Back then, Chaotic Swell was pretty disruptive because there wasn't really a easy way to bump it. It released shortly after cards like Field Blower were rotated, so there was no easy way to bump it outside of Marshadow, the resetting hole Marshadow, that when you could bounce a stadium in play by shuffling back the Marshadow into the deck.
I think it was discarding it.
Discarding it? Okay.
Yeah.
But regardless, today it would be a great Path to the Peak counter, as well as there are other ways to remove it, being vacuum, as well as what is it? What's our current bounce from hand? The one that when you play
Pumpkaboo.
Worker.
So there's Worker. So there's several outs to it without having to lose your stadium. But I think it could be a force your opponent to either have an out or not have path in play.
Yeah, I think that's would be an interesting card to have back in the meta. I think it'd still be a good card, and it'd help a lot of decks that don't want path in play.
Yeah, I think like Lugia turbos it out turn 1.
Yeah.
I'd probably play a copy and Guardy for late game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess, yeah, also decks that are looking to stop a lot of the powerful stadiums that are coming out in this next Obsidian Flame set, right? Like, they just announced that there's a Psychic one.
Yep, card's insane.
What does that one do, Daniel?
You discard a Psychic Energy and heal 30 from all of your Psychic Pokemon, I believe? Or is it all of your Pokemon? I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
But that's silly for Gardevoir, because it means you can get 2 more attachments onto a little Gardevoir.
2 more? Dang.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can hit 330 on a little Gardevoir without too much work. Like, without reversal.
Right, that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, do you even play Zacian V anymore if your little Gardevoir can hit?
Probably. Maybe. Probably. Maybe not.
Do you just run more Shiny Arcana Gardevoirs?
Maybe it's time to bring out that
Balloons.
Mirage Step Curlia.
Oh, that's not where I was going.
Exactly what I was thinking. Mirage Step Curlia making its way.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out though. Balloons.
Drift balloons?
Yeah, let's just play Drifloons.
Well, the stadium doesn't impact that.
It does.
Yeah.
By healing an odd number, it lets you get the exact amount of damage you need.
Oh, so healing in odd numbers allows you to additional 10 closer to death.
Correct.
Opposed to 20.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. No, yeah,
That'd be for 360, right? With the Bravery Charm. Balloons could hit?
Something like that. It's dumb. Yeah.
Okay. Like, your only 2 prizes in the deck is Gardevoir EXs, which are already tough to knock out.
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, rip my Champions Festival.
Yeah, rip that card.
I'm all for it.
That card's gonna be like this.
Yeah.
Right, but that's just another good counterplay that a Chaotic Swell type of effect can have right now.
Right.
There's another stadium that's designed to hurt basic Pokemon from attacking.
Yep. That's Lost Box is probably not gonna like to see that in play.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if you play as well in Lost Box though. Like regardless, I think you just play better stadium bumps.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Maybe.
I could see that Swell play though being like a 1-tech card in most decks.
Yeah. Right. Like I think the effect is really good and pretty balanced right now with what we have for removal.
Yeah, this format is interesting and weird.
Yeah.
Anyone have any other effects they might like to see reprinted or cards?
Hear me out, guys. Hear me out.
Okay.
Very controversial item card.
Oh
that,
boy.
Yep. It was one of the only cards that allowed you to interact with your opponent on their turn.
Oh, okay.
Which was the effect of Power Spray.
Power Spray, yeah.
For those who don't know what it does, can you tell us what that card does?
Yeah, so Power Spray was specifically part of an engine. I believe they were referred to as like GL Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had a certain requirement, you had to have 3 in play. when your opponent used an ability, you were able to use Power Spray to stop the ability for the turn. So like back then, it was used against draw engines, such as a card called Play Doh,
Yep.
which would allow you to draw until you had 6. You could put a card from your hand at the bottom and draw until you had 6. So kind of like today, how we have the barrel. It also stopped another effect from hand as Uxie, which allowed you to draw up to 7. So it was a card that was a counteractive card. So there were control decks that played it, there were aggressive decks that played it. But it gave that certain element during your opponent's turn is how important is this ability? Should I wait a turn? It added a lot of layers to the game, which I really enjoyed.
All right.
Yeah, guys, what do you guys think?
So I hear you, but I feel like we'd have to limit it somehow, because I feel like shutting off a like if I declared Starbirth.
Oh yeah.
And you sprayed it. That
Well,
feel
yeah.
really bad.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be able to be used on like V-Star abilities and stuff.
Right. Other than that, I mean, it's an interesting concept.
That card would be broken. Power Spray in this format.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would.
Imagine somebody goes like, "I'm gonna Luminion," and then you're like, Power Spray."
The Lumion. Yeah.
Well, I think Pokemon can make that sort of effect really interesting, right? Like they can put it onto a specific type of Pokemon, right? As if
Non-Roblox.
Right, or well, kind of like how like Radiant is, right? You can only have one of it, and like maybe it has to be in play, so there's no.
Oh, so it's telegraphed.
Yeah. Both players are aware of it, but the thing that turned Pokemon off that type of ability was it was a nightmare for judges, right?
Right.
Like someone played an ability. Someone waited a second and they started drawing, and they're like, "Oh wait, I had a Power Spray," and it would cause game losses or penalties. So, if it's common game knowledge and everyone has access to it, I think it'd be fantastic.
Maybe if it was like an ability on a Pokemon that you could use once a game.
Right, like its own V-Star concept, or
right, because then it could be turned off by something else. You could play around it somehow.
Yeah, I like that sort of like chain kind of a effect on a Pokemon. Pokemon doesn't have that.
Pokemon's really an uninteractive game.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that idea. I think it'd be cool to see some more cross-turn interaction.
right, and they incorporated some interaction with cards like Iono, which are turn-based interactions, right? But them reintroducing a card like that brought life to a lot of decks that previously were getting dominated by, for the longest time it was Kyogre, Lost Box that was dominating just because it was a deck no one could interact with. They would have their whole deck on their hand pretty much and be able to do whatever they wanted.
Right. It's a little more counterplay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Any other ideas?
I liked the plus power defender meta.
Okay.
If you guys don't know, plus power was like a item card that when you played it down, it gave you 10 more damage, and defender was a one-turn use. I think, yeah, it was one-turn use, or you do minus 20 on your opponent's attacks.
Yeah, and we have something like that in standard with the power tablets for the Fusion Strike Pokemon.
Yeah, but they're just for specific Pokemon.
Right. I mean, we've had it before with what was it? Electropower?
Yeah.
Back for electric types, but it's been a while since we had a generic both positive and or negative like reduction or boost.
Yeah.
Kind of effect.
Because you could hit those numbers that you needed if you were just 20 or 30 damage short. Go
right.
plus power digging.
I mean, I don't know. Would every deck just play them though?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the issue with that kind of card. It's so impactful everything plays it.
Yeah, that's true.
So every deck's playing 56 cards plus 4 of whatever, or 52 cards and 4 and 4.
But I don't know. Nowadays, like, you got to fit so much, like Battle VIP passes, 4 Nest balls,
Fair.
Ultra balls. It'd be kind of hard to fit.
Yeah, engines are pretty large.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I guess like a Gardevoir probably wouldn't play it because it doesn't really need damage fixing. You might play the power or like the damage reduction
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
But I don't think you really need the damage boost that often. Except me when I'm 10 short every game.
I like that concept. Well, I mean, I've been in the tank just kind of revisiting some cards that are working with Luminous Energy. And, I noticed playing Wu-Chen and having 230 HP, that was hard for a lot of decks to manage since there's no damage modifiers against EXs yet. Right? And I was like, oh, maybe Entei is a better attacker than Raikou into some matchups. Right? Given that, Raikou is a good attacker into Lugia for weakness. Or into, water decks like Palkia, but I was like, Entei's 230, and with the meta being, also Arceus oriented, and then being able to get up to numbers, right? Like Dragonite's 230, and it's hard for decks to take care of it. That'd be very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Trenton, you got any ideas?
It's hard remembering back, like, stuff you want back.
I have another one, if you don't have one.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So now that Iono is a problem, I mean, it's a really good card, we can all agree, right? I think it'd be nice to have something like the Primate Wisdom in Oranguru back.
Yeah.
Or the Smooth Over Macargo, which has been printed twice.
What does the Macargo do?
The Macargo is once per turn, search your deck for a card and put it on top.
Okay.
Which I think is a little bit more balanced than the Oranguru because it's stage 1, and it doesn't like pseudo draw you a card. Because the Oranguru swaps the card in the hand with the card in the top of the deck, so you're kind of seeing an extra card while setting the top deck.
Yeah.
So I think they're balanced in different ways, but I think the Macargo would probably be a safer reprint.
I think you're on to something. I like that effect is so much needed right now to make other, I guess rogue decks or more viable, right? Like Ting Lu with a gutsy pickaxe. Like,
yep.
I would commit a 1/1 or a 2/2 line stage 1 to always make sure I get a additional fighting energy on the following turn because. As we've all played against some sort of Ting Lu, like once the first one goes down, it's hard for you to power up another one. So
right,
it unlocks those type of archetypes too, not just Iono kind of plays.
Yeah, Kyurem VMAX as well.
Yes.
I think that deck would be probably playable if it had a way to guarantee that top deck energy. Maybe.
Right, other than the 30 watt energy need.
Yeah. So that was the other idea I had floating around. I think it could be interesting.
Yeah. Another thing that could also be like more balanced than the Oranguru is the I guess it's just a one-time use, but the Mewtwo, where when you benched it, you could like put a supporter from your discard on the top of your deck.
Oh yeah.
It's not as good though because we don't have Scoop 'em Net or anything right now. But
yeah, so it'd be kind of trapped there.
Yeah.
Super Scoop Up wouldn't be a bad card.
Just plain old Super Scoop Up.
Coin flip, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it'd probably be fine. I'm surprised we haven't. It's been a while since it's been printed.
Yeah.
And that is a card that seems to get reprinted once every couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, guys, the Super Scoop Up meta again.
Scoop up.
Oh yeah, because there's so many times where I want to run a penny just to pick up Kombucha or something, or playing Collapse to get rid of your Squawk ability. Like, Super Scoop Up solves the problem. Roll the dice.
Half the time.
Half the time. That's a good call out.
I think it'd probably be fine.
He's so good, but yet so bad. You just lose the coin flip. It's just like, damn.
It probably wouldn't be great.
What if we give it an upside on tails? I don't know what, but some sort of upside on tails.
Maybe draw a card. Let's pick up a
Sure.
Pokemon Tails draw card so it replaces itself.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Because that's what I like about capturing Aroma, despite the fact that I hate that card because I hate coin flips. But at least you get something.
Yeah.
It's rarely the thing you want, but at least it's something.
Mm-hmm.
So I do like the addition of upsides on coin flip cards.
Were there any interesting energies?
See, the issue right now with energies is Archeops exists.
Yeah.
So they can't really print any unrestricted
Rainbow.
fun energy.
Yeah. No rainbow energy.
Like, we won't get rainbow. We won't get anything interesting for a while, I don't think.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to get like special energy types for certain Pokemon, like the double lightning.
Oh, right. That'd be cool.
You all know we want Double Dragon back.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say it, but yeah, I want Double Dragon back.
We want to play our Regidragos and our Noivern in peace.
Noivern.
Yeah, let us battle in peace.
Do we want to go ahead and move on, or does anyone have any other ideas?
Cost our game health, maybe a tool that allows reduced retreat costs somehow.
Yeah, that's probably something we need. I'm surprised we haven't gotten one yet. Probably in the next set or two, right?
Yeah,
Right.
surely.
I mean,
Right.
okay, Beach Court. kind
Yeah,
of exists.
but that's only for basics, so.
Super restrictive,
Yeah.
yeah.
Lodestone.
Yeah, because
We're never
otherwise,
going to see Floatstone.
because like right now, there's just like a bunch of Switch in the meta.
Yeah.
Half of it's tied to basics right now because of the V formats, and we're finally going into an evolution set, so maybe a tool that only caters to evolution Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe. I can see it. We're probably never going to get straight up Floatstone again.
yeah, probably not.
Card's so good. But I wouldn't mind like a U-turn board or a what was it, skateboard?
Yeah,
Balloon?
Balloon was fine. So we'll see what we get.
yeah.
Now, I know we're going to have to revisit this topic when our other folks get back, because they're going to have quite a few that they'd love to see.
Oh, Casey and Eric are yelling at the screen right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. GLC players, like,
I waited for them. I waited for them to be gone so that they couldn't disagree with me.
Yeah.
Perfectly executed.
Exactly. Alrighty. I suppose we should probably move on now. I'm sure we'll talk about something similar again in the future, but I think it is good to kind of discuss what cards kind of help improve a format and what like balance is, I guess, if that makes sense. So, anyway, on to the next one. Historically speaking, Pokemon likes to spoil the TCG's newest mechanics at some point during the World Championship. For example, at Worlds 2018, the Tag Team GX Pokemon were announced, followed by Pokemon V at Worlds 2019. Most recently, Pokemon EX were announced at Worlds 2022. With Worlds 2023 only a few weeks away, should we expect to see a new mechanic announced? And if so, what do you guys think it should be? Are we getting 3 prizers back?
I hope not.
I agree.
You're gonna announce megas again.
Yeah, but see, megas were capital EXs.
Yeah, now we're gonna have lowercase.
Lowercase megas? I mean, I'd be fine. Don't get me wrong. Megas
Yeah.
are sick.
You have to go through all the stages of evolving them, though. Still.
Oh, wait. Okay, hear me out. Could we get EX breaks?
Oh, man. That would be a good mechanic.
Guard for EX break
Was that the card where you had to like put it on top, like, yeah,
sideways.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they, they're just. I think they could play more with the Terrasalon um, ability, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything now,
Right.
for the most part.
Nothing's relevant. Pretty much, they can't be damaged on the bench is what their effect is.
Yeah.
They have bench barrier.
Bench barrier, right? And they haven't really printed any spread attacks, outside cards that will get around it with Vespiquen, right?
Right. And
Um,
like to be fair, they are the Terra Pokemon in Obsidian Flames are like alternate type for the first time. We're getting like a Dark Charizard and an Electric Tyranitar and stuff like that. But I still don't think that's that interesting.
Yeah.
now that you bring that up, you think they're kind of just segueing the dual typing back?
I think it'd be cool. I'd love to get back to like Delta species style of Pokemon.
Yeah, they've done it once, and I don't know. Yeah, they can still stick with the EX structure, but dual species.
Yeah, I kind of feel like because like EXs we've only had 2 sets of EXs, so it's a little early to like transition away or into something else.
Yeah, well, usually they announce it and then it like takes a couple sets after that.
Still, it'll be less than a year from the release of Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
I think we might see what our next one of type card is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Whether it be it won't be Prisms or Radiance, or it'll be something, they'll probably call it something new, but
Yeah.
that style of card.
Yeah.
Guys, hear me out. That's where they introduced the Power Spray Pokemon.
Fair enough. It comes full circle.
You guys hear it first. No insight into the Pokemon International Company, but
Right. I think I'd like to see trainers like we had Prism Star trainers. Like
Oh,
Prism
yeah.
trainers.
Ace
It's not
Specs.
just Pokemon.
Or Apex, yeah, anything like that, like super impactful one of items, or maybe we get Floatstone, but it's a one of.
Mm-hmm.
See, I like that A-spec kind of concept.
Yeah, they definitely have to be. Actually, maybe you guys are right? Because they're printing a Pidgeot to go search for one card in your deck.
True.
Maybe they have this already designed. They're leaning towards that.
I mean, surely they have it in mind at the very least.
Yeah.
You don't print that kind of card without having something for it to search.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we'll get. Did anyone play Scarlet and Violet? What's the team called?
Team Star, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What if we get Team Star Pokemon? When was the last time we had Team X? Team X is blank.
Been a while.
Like Magma and Aqua, right?
Yeah.
That was Steam Siege.
Yes. Double Crisis, I believe.
Double Crisis was the last set where we had team.
Yeah.
So at least 10 years.
Yeah. I feel like having only one team in the region doesn't help. I think the Team Aquas plus Magmas was kind of interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely kind of weird how they're doing the teams in games now.
I agree.
Right. Well, they tried a little bit early on in the Sword and Shield with the Single Strike, Fusion Strike, Rapid Strike type of Pokemon, but I agree.
Right.
That whole concept of having a specific archetype of Pokemon, you can print trainers and items that support them that are powerful, but only in a certain archetype.
Right. Because, like, Single Strike has a VS Seeker for supporters, for Single Strike supporters, which is insane. but all the single strike supporters kind of suck.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see something along those lines. Some sort of sub-archetype of Pokemon.
Now you got me excited for Worlds. My brain is spinning.
Right? I mean, it's only a couple weeks away.
Yeah. And it's just this time of year is such an exciting point. Like after the tournament's done and they do the announcements, the big send off, it gets everyone super pumped for the next season. And I'm kind of glad it's at the end of the month. We'll get a couple weeks break from the competitive scene. It seems like a lot of folks will be out of town competing in the event. But as soon as September hits, I expect us to go compete in 50-man cups, 50-plus man cups of Masters, and get a top 16 placements.
I swear I'm playing a good deck next time. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am. I've got something cooking.
Cooking? Ooh.
That's not a good sign.
Oh, it's a great sign. What are you talking about? I don't know. Worlds should be exciting. Let's do Worlds predictions. What's going to win Worlds?
I guess. Probably an Arc Pile.
Okay. One vote for Arcpile.
I'm going to say Lostina.
That's probably pretty fair.
I think Lostina is good, but I don't know if it'll win Worlds.
I think someone could just run so hot perfectly as it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of games to run hot. Unless they're a day 2 invitee.
Yeah.
So maybe. I mean, that's the thing about Worlds, though. Because you can change your deck between day 1 and day 2, we could see a huge meta shift between the 2 days.
I think that's what will happen.
I don't know. I feel like if you play a deck and it does well into day 1, you're probably just going to play the same deck again.
Right. But the people that have day 2 invites, obviously they're going to,
Well, yeah.
night of get wind of certain lists that are doing really well in the top tables, and could debate playing a deck and then change their mind to see like what's actually in the fields.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Guardy's got it.
You think Guardy's got it?
I
It's
don't
gonna be
know.
Guardy.
I don't think so. I think it'll be like Guardy versus Arcpile in the finals, and then it's going to get all its Pokemon lost owned.
That's true. I think it's gonna. Okay, it's probably gonna be something silly like Lugia.
Nah, I think Lugia does bad at Worlds.
You think?
No good players want to play Lugia.
I think there's 2 in top 8.
Maybe.
Alrighty. And that'll be all for us today. Thank you for watching and or listening. We'd love to hear your comments below in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube. Tell us if you think our ideas were great or if they were miserable. See you all later.
Later, guys.
Later.